Welcome everybody to the Keys to Wisdom channel. As you saw there, I put up some information regarding the terrorist attacks on the Nord Stream pipelines from Russia to Germany. Putting together some data and some things that I don't see anybody else out there realizing or correlating together. The reality is that attack upon Germany and the German people and NATO and Russia and the entire European Union, right, was done on Rosh Hashanah 5783 on the Hebrew New Year. And one of the big parts of the Hebrew New Year is blowing that shofar, the master of the blast, right? It is a great honor to be the one to blow the shofar, to be the master of the blast on Rosh Hashanah. So what I showed you there was some pictures that September 26th, 2022, Gregorian, was the exact date of Tishri 1st, 5783, Rosh Hashanah, the Hebrew or Jewish New Year. So this was an attack upon Germany on the Hebrew New Year, and it was using the rituals of the blowing of the shofar, the master of the blast, right? And at the end there, I put in a little bit of information with Joe Biden and giving him the honor of the deeds that he did that day in those titles, Master of the Blast and whatever the other one is, Ba'al Tekiah, Baaltekiah, right? Joe Biden Jr., Jewish New Year, Master of the Blast in English, or Rosh Hashanah, Ba'al Tekiah, right? 5783. When I put that in there, right, I showed that the independence of Israel Hebrew year came up 4 different times, 5708, 5708. And then I punched in the 5708 4 times, right, or 5708 times 4. And then it brought us right to that exact Hebrew New Year, 5783. And that other date that I had showed you in my previous video of April 1st, 2023, that's correlating to all of the different things going on at the beginning of World War III and everything going on in between Ukraine and Russia and the other psychopaths that are involved in this, right? The reality of the deal is Ukraine is not a NATO nation. The attack on Ukraine was not unprovoked. Even that hugely disappointing during COVID, Noam Chomsky, right, is coming out very clearly saying they're completely full of shit when they say that Russia was unprovoked. Just like Roger Waters of Pink Floyd said to the UN the other day, they were not completely unprovoked, right? They were totally provoked. And there was a genocide of Russian-speaking people occurring there, nonstop killing of Russian-speaking Ukrainian citizens there in the east. It was entirely provoked. All of the different agreements, Minsk agreements made were total bullshit. You even have Angela Merkel coming out and saying we were just fucking with Russia on those agreements to buy some more time to build up Ukraine. And they were building up the Ukraine military to directly attack Russia, right? As they were building it up, they were committing genocide and attacking and killing and trying to de-Russify Ukraine by eliminating the Russian speakers and the ethnic Russians, right? So none of the shit was provoked, right? Russia did not attack NATO. NATO has attacked Russia. NATO has also attacked NATO, right? The big bombshell coming out, even though to everybody who's in the know at all, anywhere in the world, didn't need to be told that the USA was the one that blew up the Nord Stream pipeline. Everybody knew it. The only sources saying anything contrary are the entirely corrupt, lying sources, which are the governments of these NATO countries, especially the USA, and the medias, right? They were all trying to push blame towards Russia. Even Noam Chomsky talked about how ridiculous that was just a couple days ago on, I believe he was on the Duran, right? But NATO has been attacked by NATO. The United States of America and Joe Biden committed a terrorist attack, which is economic terrorism against the nation of Germany, economic terrorism against the people of Germany, and it was also environmental terrorism, the biggest methane release in the single biggest methane release in history, right? The motherfuckers want to talk about climate change and all this other bullshit. Joe Biden is an economic and environmental terrorist. Nothing he says about any of those issues means shit. His deeds are clear. He'll gladly commit the biggest pollution crime in terms of methane in history, right, to attack Germany, right? So that was an attack on Germany, and it was an attack on Russia by the United States of America and Joe Biden, right? And then we have also had attacks by Ukraine on Poland. A missile attack from Ukraine on Poland that killed people is another instance of a NATO attack, not Russia, but Ukraine. Of course, they try to lie about it right away. They had to get busted on it, just like this Nord Stream shit, right? There's nothing but liars involved with Ukraine and all of these governments. In my last video, I was talking about how Germany really does not want to send these tanks in, and they're getting bullied and whatnot by these the USA and other NATO nations, and hopefully they'd stand up against the ridiculous bullshit. It's a ridiculous notion anyways, right? But they caved in, right? Their people don't want any part of this. Their people want that Nord Stream line running. They want cheap energy. They want the money back in their pockets that Joe Biden stolen from them. They do not want to be sending tanks to fight and kill Russians, especially considering the history of Germany, right? All of this is being forced by the United States of America and the United Kingdom to basically destroy the future of Germany and to try to purposely separate Germany from Russia, right? So everybody is suffering in Germany and the EU as a whole, all because of the United States. The entire Ukraine shit is all about Germany. Germany has been the main target of it, right? And these Polacks who are itching to get their hands on the western part of Ukraine and everything else, right? They've been starting their shit, right? You saw right away they tweeted, "Thank you, USA," right? Everybody who has been in the know whatsoever has realized that the USA blew up that Nord Stream pipeline, right? And those Polish idiots are been trying to demand more reparations from Germany over World War II, even though the matter has been settled. They have also come out and said that there's a big problem with Germany because they're so successful in peacetime that it is tantamount to being an act of war, right? Because the other nations are nowhere near as successful. They are scared again of Germany's industrial power and Germany's ability to prosper during peacetime. So that's why they've created this war in Ukraine, attacked the Nord Stream. It's Germany is the target, not really Russia, not really Ukraine, even though Ukraine is being used. They're exterminating the people of Ukraine. They're being used, and human sacrifices are happening because that's the weapon that the West is decided to use in this conflict to really go after Germany, right? They're not really going after Russia because they could never deal. You could never really go after Russia. You can't have a real war with Russia without everything going down. But you can play all these fucking stupid games, basically wipe out the majority of the Ukrainian population and set it up so that NATO will expand westward via the Poland invasion that is coming in western Ukraine. They're going to say we're coming in to safeguard some shit, but they're coming in to take western Ukraine. And it's been the plan all along, right? And you got this Zelensky cocksucker running around, one of the biggest monsters in world history in terms of leaders, with him and Joe Biden's right at the top. There's Adolf Hitler and Stalin, and then there's Joe Biden, and Zelensky is right there with him. It's the most wicked and rotten motherfuckers of them all, right? And it's just a sickening farce right now to see all these other fallen nations and fallen leaders hosting this piece of shit Zelensky, whether it be dirty ass King Charles or any of these other fucking cocksuckers in Brussels or any other place that fucking piece of shit is going, right? He's nothing but a fucking war criminal, a fucking corrupt thief. They're stealing from all of us to send money to Ukraine. The corrupt Ukrainian regime is stealing that fucking money, depositing it in offshore accounts, committing fraud left and right. Everything they say about everything is absolute bullshit. And then we're all getting money stolen out of our pockets on the other end because their bullshit is continuing the crime started with the COVID measures that has been creating food and energy scarcity within the world, right? The reality is Joe Biden owes all of us Americans money. The money he's stealing from our tax coffers to send to Ukraine, and the money he is costing us in food and energy inflations that only have one cause: his fucking bullshit, right? Joe Biden owes all the people in Germany money. It's the same thing as it's being sucked out of their pocket. Joe Biden owes everybody in Europe money. Joe Biden owes everybody in Russia money. And Joe Biden owes a huge apology to the Ukrainian people for facilitating this human sacrifice ritual that is going on right now to target Germany. So that information that I put in the front, it's there was the ritual, right? The ritual nobody out there is realizing, right? It was a celebration of the Jewish New Year. It was an attack on the Germans, which again goes back to the bullshit from World War II and the Holocaust, right? And the Holocaust is exactly world war. Every world war. There's a Holocaust going on right now in Ukraine, committed by Joe Biden and Volodymyr Zelensky and every other piece of shit that is supporting this happening. There's only been one government and one nation trying to do anything correctly for the benefit of the Ukrainian people the entire time. And even though it sounds crazy because Russia and Ukraine are the combatants right now, Russia is the only government and the only military who has even tried to do anything in the best interest of the Ukrainian people living in Ukraine. Everything that the West has done and the current corrupted, entirely abomination regime in Kiev has done has been contrary to the interests of the Ukrainian people, right? The government of Ukraine is doing the worst things possible for the Ukrainian people, and the governments of all of the NATO countries involved in this same thing, right? So this information in terms of what I see is big. It's a blowing of the Shofar. It's a ritual for the Hebrew Jewish New Year, Rosh Hashanah, and it was done as basically a symbolic revenge act for the World War II bullshit, right? It was a message also sent to Germany that it was done on Rosh Hashanah, on that day, on the Jewish New Year, right? And the blowing of that shofar on Jewish New Year, Rosh Hashanah, is calling to repent for your sins. It's basically threatening Germany and saying, you have committed sins in taking energy from Russia. You have committed sins in being successful in peacetime. You have committed sins in not sending the weapons that we've been asking for since the beginning of this, right? Germany's been getting attacked at all ways ever since this started, right? For not sending more weapons, not sending more money, right? It's just fucking crazy shit. But there's a lot of people talking about this right now after the report come out about how Joe Biden did all of this big terrorist attack and whatnot. But there's really nobody realizing the connection between September 26, 2022 and Tishri 1st, 5783, the Hebrew event, or realizing that Joe Biden is the master of the blast. That's his honorary title. And, you know, the reality of the deal is the president of the United States of America right now is rogue. The American people wouldn't want nothing to do with it. He is an economic and environmental terrorist, and he is a war criminal. He is unfit to serve. He needs to be impeached, tried, and the things he's done is so far as, he should be facing the most severe penalty possible for the crimes that he has committed. It's a complete embarrassment to the United States of America. This is a direct attack on everybody in the world. It's a direct attack on NATO, right? The reality is all NATO member nations have a duty to stand up to those who attack NATO. And those who have attacked NATO are the United States of America and Ukraine. Never once has Russia attacked NATO in any type of way. So that's where we are on this. I'll probably throw those pictures there in at the end of the video again. Just want to say sorry I haven't been able to make many videos. This 2023 year started off like pretty crazy for me, so I haven't had a lot of time. I had to take my dad to the emergency room on January 1st because he had a scope operation at the urologist a little time before. He got this bladder infection. He couldn't pee, and he ended up having to get a Foley catheter put in for quite a while, and then we ended up having to do a prostate surgery on him and then go back and get the thing out, and things are just now finally starting to become normalized here, whereas nothing has been close to normal since this year began for me. So I haven't been focusing a lot on making videos and other stuff. I do have some very good work started on Bob Seger and some other things going that I just haven't taken the time to show because I've been distracted with so many other things. But with that said, please like the video, share the video, and subscribe to the channel if you think that's something you should do. And have a nice day.